Hello and welcome. My name is Christina. Today I'm going to be taking you through a short heart and hip sequenced class. We'll begin in a seated posture. So when you're ready, join me on your mat in a comfortable seated position. We'll begin to focus in on our breath, finding a deep breath in through the nose, letting it out. Continuing with that breath, maybe letting the air out through the mouth or through the nose, whatever you're comfortable with as you continue breathing into your seated posture. Bring your awareness to the length of the spine. As you inhale, lengthening through the crown of the head. As you exhale, softening tailbone into your mat, rooting yourself down. On your next breath, and bringing your hands to heart center. Breathing out. Inhale, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, cactus the arms out beside you, elbows in line with shoulders, lifting the heart, maybe lifting the chin if that feels good. Holding here. Inhale, reaching arms up. Exhale, open those cactus arms. You can begin to flow with your breath. And one more, reach and cactus. A breath in. We're going to turn, find a gentle twist, left hand to the right knee, turning and looking over the shoulder. Breathing tall. A breath in. Exhale, revolve, twisting to the opposite side, looking over the shoulder. Inhaling back to center. We'll uncross the legs, meet into our tabletop position. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. And we'll find our neutral. Once we are there, once you're comfortable, made all the adjustments you need to for your tabletop, we'll begin our cat and cow sequence. So rounding through the back for your cat, tucking chin to chest, tailbone tucks under. On an exhale, shoulders squeeze towards the tailbone, belly drops, heart through. And flowing with your breath in and out. In and out. When you're ready, coming back to a neutral position. Take the big toes together, knees wide, sending ourselves back to our child's pose. Walking the hands forward to let the forehead, the third eye come to rest on your mat. remembering at any point during your practice, you can come back to this pose. A few deep breaths here. And we're going to lift the gaze towards the front of the mat, sliding through onto the belly, releasing the tops of the thighs, tops of the feet to your mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Press into the hands, lifting up through your baby cobra. Shoulders draw down the back and releasing down. I'm going to flow through this, inhaling up to your baby cobra. Exhale, releasing down. And you can play with hand placement here, maybe a little bit wider. Or a little further away. Finding maybe one more, hands close. And coming back to your child's pose. When you're ready, from your child's pose, we'll meet in downward dog. So coming to your tabletop, tuck the toes, pressing up and back to downward dog. Finding a little bit of movement here, maybe pedaling the feet, deeply bending the knees. Make any little adjustments you need to in this downward dog. Maybe finding some movement of the head and neck. And from downward dog, we're going to step or hop into our forward fold. Release that forward fold, letting all the tension melt from your upper back. Maybe a little movement here, sway side to side. On an inhale, we'll lift halfway. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, sweeping arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here in and out. Release. Make any little adjustments you need to this first mountain pose. Feet can be hip distance or wider, a little bit closer together, depending on your body. So making yourself as comfortable as you can here. And really settling into that tall, stacked posture, shoulders over hips, over knees, over heels, feeling grounded through the four corners of the feet. Inhale, we're going to reach arms up, bring palms together. And turn to face you all. And on an exhale, we'll begin a little lean to one side. Inhaling center. Exhale to the opposite side. Inhale center. Flowing with your breath. Reaching tall with each inhale. Exhale, bending deeply through the side, reaching. Maybe finding one more on each side if that would feel good to you. Coming back through to center. And swan dive back into our forward fold. Softening down. Really release here on an inhale, lifting halfway. Exhaling down. Fingertips to your mat. We're going to step the left foot back and coming into our low lunge or Anjaneyasana. We'll lift the arms overhead and cactus those arms, open the heart. Breathing here. Nice and stable through the hips. Reaching arms up on an inhale. Exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to frame the foot, lengthening through that left leg, pulling toes towards you for our half splits. If you need to, or if you'd like to, you can use your blocks for support here to help in your reach. So that way you can keep the hips stacked over that knee. Breathing here. Coming out of our half splits, we're going to shift our weight back to the top of the mat. We'll step back to plank, holding strong in your plank for a breath in. Exhaling down. Inhale, you can do that cobra again or all the way into upward dog. Coming back to meet in downward dog. Take a breath here in and out. Inhale, lifting the right leg up, step the right foot forward, and then the left. Coming back to meet in your forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, releasing down. Fingertips to your mat. We'll repeat the sequence on the opposite side, coming into our low lunge, our Anjaneyasana. Inhaling, arms overhead. Exhale, open that heart, cactus the arms. Few deep breaths here, nice and stable, nice and strong. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, and we'll fold, lengthening through that left leg, maybe walking it out a little further to pull onto the heel. Option again to use the blocks at any height for support as you lengthen over this left leg. On an exhale, shifting the weight forward. Bring the hands to the top of the mat. Stepping back to your plank, nice and strong in your plank for a breath in. Exhaling down, chaturanga. Coming all the way down, maybe for a cobra, or pulling through to your upward dog. But we'll meet together in our downward dog. Breathing here through your downward dog, nice and strong. On an inhale, lifting the left leg high. Exhale, step the left foot to the top of the mat, then the right. Release to your forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, release. Inhale, sweeping arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath in and release. Making any little adjustments that you need to your stance. Anything you need to be 10% more comfortable. Breathing here. Rooting through the feet. And inhale, lifting arms overhead. Exhale, swan diving down. Inhale, lifting halfway, extended spine. Exhale, release. Fingertips to your mat. Stepping the right foot back. We're going to come to our warrior one. So we will ground that right heel. Inhaling, arms overhead. Bending deeply into that left knee. Stable through the feet. You want your stance to be hip distance apart. So if you feel a little unstable, moving maybe that right foot out a half step. So that way you're not on a tightrope, you're more on train tracks. And your distance can be as short or as long as feels comfortable to you if you need to adjust that. We're going to sweep the arms behind the back. Option here to clasp the hands, pulling the shoulders down. Or if it's more comfortable, taking a next position, so both hands in a next position, knuckles to knuckles against the back, whichever version feels comfortable to you. We'll find our humble warrior, so keeping a deep bend in that left knee, lengthening through the crown of the head. Exhale, begin to fold. Lead with your heart. Keeping the spine long. Coming about halfway. And you'll start to feel gravity lifting the arms overhead. Staying active through this warrior. When you're ready to release, lead with the arms, pulling the shoulders back will help lift the heart, reaching arms overhead. Exhale a little deeper. We're going to find balance in our warrior three. So maybe taking a small step forward with the right foot and then begin to fly into your warrior three. Staying here. When you're ready to release, we'll take the hands to the mat, maybe a lift into standing splits. When you're ready, release to your forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, releasing down. Inhale, reach arms overhead, coming back to your mountain. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here in and release. Making any little adjustments you need to your standing posture. And we'll repeat our humble warrior sequence on the other side. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, swan diving down. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhale, release. Fingertips to your mat for a moment. If you'd like to step back with the left foot, ground the left heel for our warrior one. Inhaling, arms overhead. Making any little adjustments that you need to here in your warrior one. Maybe widening your stance or shortening and lengthening to find more stability. Keeping that bend through the right knee. We're going to draw the arms into that cactus position. Open the heart, maybe lifting the chin. Breathing here. Inhale, reaching arms overhead. Exhale, we'll sweep them behind the back. Again, option to clasp the fingertips together for our humble warrior, or to take knuckles to knuckles. Either way, when you're ready, we'll begin to fold, lengthening through the spine. Coming through into that fold, you'll feel gravity taking the arms. Keeping the shoulders active. The feet are solid and supportive. When you're ready to come out, pulling, lead through the hands, lifting the crown of the head, the heart, reach the arms up. On an exhale, small half step forward, we're going to come into our warrior three. So begin to reach, letting the left leg fly. Staying here for a breath or two. When you're ready, bringing hands to your mat, maybe a little lift to standing splits. Releasing down to your forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway. Exhaling down. Inhale, sweeping arms overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take a breath here in and release. Make any little adjustments you need to. Widen your stance, shifting your weight, releasing any tension. And we'll breathe again together, inhaling up. Exhale, swan diving down. Fingertips to your mat. Step or hop back to plank. Take a breath here, nice and strong. Exhaling down, chaturanga. Inhale to either your cobra or your upward dog. Coming back to downward dog. From downward dog, we're going to come into our pigeon, first on our left side. So lifting that left leg up, bend the knee, maybe open that hip. And we'll bring the left knee forward through the left wrist, letting the shin come to rest, letting the right thigh come down to your mat. Option here to use the block under that left hip if you need some support in this posture. And we are cooling down in our pigeon. So from here, you can stay lifted if this feels good, if you want to continue lifting through the heart. Or if you'd like to, you can come down to rest on elbows, maybe resting the forehead to the hands. Now, if pigeon does not feel comfortable to you today, option to take figure four, instead taking left shin across the right leg and bringing the legs into the body. Whichever option you choose today for your cool down is perfect. You are in charge of your practice today. Take a few more deep breaths from either your figure four or your pigeon. We're going to meet back in our downward dog. So coming back into downward dog. Taking your time, make any little adjustments you need to. And we'll try the right side. So lifting the right leg, maybe opening that right hip. We'll bring the shin through and come down. Option again for those doing pigeon to use the block underneath the hip and coming down to rest here. Option also, if this is not within your practice today, coming to our figure four with the right foot across the left leg. Remember to do what feels best for your practice, not your neighbors. We'll breathe here for just a few more minutes. And meeting from our pigeon or our figure four, we're to shift to a seated posture. So coming to seated, bringing the feet together. I'm going to turn to face you all. So bringing the feet together in our seated posture in our cobbler pose. And just letting both hips open up. Option to add again supportive blocks. So if your legs don't feel like they want to go past a certain point, you need a little support, bringing that just under the knees. And doing what feels best for your practice today. Find a few deep breaths here. Option to stay here with the extended spine, or if it feels comfortable, deepening into this pose, maybe finding a forward fold, bringing the hands to the ankles, letting elbows open to the knees. Whichever posture you are in, it is a beautiful place to be for your practice, for yourself today. We are going to make our way down to our mat. I'm going to turn facing my mat again. So when you're ready, lowering yourself down for Shavasana. Taking the legs out to either corner of your mat, tucking your shoulders underneath of you, fully extending into this posture. Make any adjustments you need to if you'd like to maybe add your bolster, Maybe undo your knees while you're resting in Shavasana. Provides just a little bit more release for the low back, able to really tuck under. Settling into Shavasana, you can begin to soften the gaze, to close the eyes. Focus in on a deep and even breath. Noticing any thoughts, feelings, or sensations as they come to mind. Taking them in from a seat of non-judgment. And then coming back to focus on your breath. An easy rise and fall in and out. Bringing your attention to the weight of your body on your mat. The temperature of your skin. The feeling of your heartbeat, your pulse within your body. Being present in this moment. Reminding yourself there's nowhere else you have to be. There's nothing else you have to do. You have only to breathe and to be in this moment. Resting here and noticing where the body may still be holding some tension. See if you can direct the breath to these areas and soften just a little bit to release that tension. continue to rest here in stillness if you'd like. But if you're ready, you can begin to find movement. Starting maybe with fingers and toes. Your feet and wrist. Elbows and knees. Stretching and moving in any way that would feel good to you right now. And maybe simply rolling to one side to ease your transition. In your own time, meeting together in a seated posture. Settling in, rooting yourself down to your mat. Find a collective breath in and out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me today. Namaste.